we're back. Welcome to another edition of Kudo Camera Company live stream. Let's see, looks like I have to start this camera. Just 1 second here. Okay. So, let's try that again. Welcome to another edition of Kudo Camera Company live stream. Here we are, live action here. So, okay. So today we're going to talk about department store cameras, and we're going to answer the question, are they cool? And in case you didn't know, yes, they are. They are cool as all heck. So we're going to talk about them. So anybody who grew up in the 80s or 90s, of course, if you were older than that as well, you know about department stores. So before there was Amazon.com and eBay.com, there were these magical places called department stores, and they had everything that you could imagine. You know, it was separate back then. They didn't have groceries and home goods mixed. You'd go to your department stores, you'd get things like furniture, clothes, golf equipment, basketball equipment, sneakers, and of course cameras. So having a camera was a real honor back then, not like today where everyone has it on their mobile phone. So you know, and department stores actually had super high quality cameras. So you know, when it comes time for shopping for clothes and stuff like that, yeah, you know, Mom, I don't want to go get my clothes from Kmart. Well, too bad. It's just too bad. You're going to get your clothes from Kmart. But back in the day, getting a camera from Sears, getting a camera from Kmart was actually really cool. And now, looking back at these camera store, department store cameras, these are pretty much the coolest, kitschiest cameras that you can get, in my opinion. So let's take a closer look at some of these. So I'm going to kind of save the oddest one for last, and I'll start out with one that's sort of the most common. So here we have, you guessed it, Sears. So Sears Roebuck. Some of the coolest things about this camera is, number one, look at that logo. It looks like some sort of a neutron or some sort of a, I don't know, it looks like some sort of an atom. And it actually came with a radioactive lens at some points. It came with the Sears 55mm f1.4 radioactive lens made by Tomioka, an absolutely sought after lens. And the camera here is this is just an awesome camera. Very few features to it. It's really just has the basics of what you need. It's got the shutter speed dial here. But let's be real about this. The thing that's cool about this is it's Sears. So I'll just show you that again. Ready? Cool. Very cool. And this particular camera has some brassing on it, which makes it even cooler. And again, this Sears Roebuck logo, you see the S and the R, how they're kind of hidden in there. SR for Sears Roebuck. So back in the day, Sears used to put out a catalog, and you know, that was actually just a bit before my time, but that, I believe this camera would have been in it. So if you were a child of the 70s, this would have been something that you wanted. And everyone from, you know, probably high school kids up to grandparents would want to get their hands on one of these things. Very cool camera. All right. So next we're going to go with, we're going to go kind of in order of rareness according to me. But this thing is super cool. Can you see what that says? Kmart Focal. Kmart Focal. So Kmart also had a line of cameras and photography equipment. They partnered with Focal, but actually Focal was their brand, and they actually partnered with Petri. And I should have mentioned the Sears Roebuck was made by Ricoh. So Ricoh made the Sears Roebuck, and Petri made the Focal by Kmart. So growing up as a kid, my father managed the automotive garage at Kmart. So Kmart was actually kind of a big part of my life. I remember the blue light specials, and then looking back at all the Kmart ads and everything like that, it's just unbelievably cool. I mean, you know, for me, I remember going through the Kmart aisles and being able to get a soccer ball or get a basketball, see all the bikes for sale. You know, hey, I had a lot of hand-me-down bikes, but you always would go there and check out the brand new bikes all up on the rack and see it, and just kind of imagine that, hey, maybe one Christmas you'd get one of those. And they had an incredible photography department for a long, long time. You know, I remember going to Kmart and seeing the boom boxes too. When I was growing up, boom boxes were pretty much the coolest thing ever, CDs and tapes. And I remember getting that, I guess it would be the Sunday flyer, and around Christmas time, and looking through and trying to pick out a boombox that I could ask my parents for. And sure enough, I got, you know, one of those CD and tape boom boxes. I got myself the Blind Melon CD, and I was good to go. And so now this camera here, the Focal camera, look at that badge on it. It's just incredibly cool. Take a look at some of the features on this camera too, like the shutter button being right here. It's just everything about this camera is awesome. And it doesn't hurt that this one is in absolutely mint condition. So this one actually sits up on my camera shelf. So when you watch other videos that I do, you'll notice this bad boy is going to be up there all the time. It actually came with a Petri 55mm f1.8 lens, but it didn't say focal or anything on it, and I ended up making the decision just to keep the body for myself, and I'll pair it up with all sorts of M42 lenses and Petri lenses. But yeah, so this Focal camera is absolutely cool. I love it so much. And then the most rare department store camera, for me anyways, is it's got to be this JCPenney SLR 3. Now, what makes this camera cool to me is not only, you know, of course the brassing is cool on this camera. The kind of the clashing blue logo is very cool, very kitschy. And if you look here closely, can you see, let me see if I can get us a good look at it. See what that says there? Penny lens. So yeah, this camera, I'm going to keep this one all intact here. You've got the Penny lens by Petri. So this camera, as you can see, it's nearly an exact match to the TLR Focal. Look at those shutter release buttons, the timers, the you know, and then on the top, it's pretty much identical. And so Petri made both of these cameras, and if you look here, again, it's got the Penny lens. So you've got the JCPenney camera and the Penny lens. So these Petri lenses are absolutely stunning for color photography. The color that comes out of these things is just incredible. And sometimes when I'm thinking about you know, how things were done back in the olden days, it wasn't all computer generated by AI. And I think at some points people just sort of got lucky, and I don't know, you know, what it was about the Petri engineers to be able to get the color that they did, but the color just is out of this world that you get with these lenses. So I highly recommend getting your hands on a Petri lens and just enjoying it. And now let's just talk about this brassing for a second. Look at that. This particular camera, somebody used this. They must have had, you know, this must have been a hand-me-down camera for a couple of generations. They must have had a big family and gone to lots of family events, or you know, maybe they were an avid photographer and spent all their free time out in the woods taking photos, or going around the city taking photos. I mean, the brassing on this camera is unbelievable. So this particular camera, it's funny. It's I can't say that it's extremely valuable, but I can tell you I'll never sell this camera so long as I live. So, you know, many years from now, if we don't figure out how to live forever, when they're going through my estate, you know, I'll be looking at this one. Hey, look up that JCPenney SLR 3. Is it worth anything? And they'll say, no, it's not worth anything. Just, you know, but somebody's going to know what this is and is going to appreciate it just like I do. And the thing is, I'm not a big fan of JCPenney, the store. Just being real, it was never my style of store. I think, you know, I was more of a Kmart guy, more of a Benny's guy. Kind of, you know, I wasn't really into JCPenney. I think of JCPenney, they had shorts and shirts, button-down shirts and stuff like that. That was not my style. And Sears, you know, at least with Sears, they probably had the Red Ryder BB gun and the basketballs and the tools. And Kmart, you know, they had toys and all that cool stuff. JCPenney, I don't think JCPenney had toys. I don't think they had tools or anything. But I'm not gonna, you know, deny this camera. So this camera is just totally cool. I mean, I'm kind of past the whole, you know, thing about, you know, they didn't have a lot of cool stuff in the store besides this photography stuff, but just, you know, look at this, the Penny lens. Penny lens, it sounds like a Beatles song, and it's just totally cool. So let me know what you think. You know, are you a fan of the JCPenney? Do you like the Kmart Focal TLR? Or are you just kind of a straightforward Sears guy, you know, or Sears gal? So let me know in the comments below, and look forward to having you come back and, you know, sharing some more videos in the future. So, you know, welcome to Kudo Camera Company. We have an eBay store, Amazon store, Facebook and Instagram. So I would love for you to get in touch one of those ways, and please do consider making a purchase from the store. We have plenty of mirrorless adapters for vintage lenses, for Sony E-mount, Fujifilm FX, and Micro Four Thirds. We've got a ton of vintage lenses for sale, everything from Minolta MD, Nikon F, M42 mount, Canon FD, and a ton others, plus a lot of very cool camera straps, vintage camera straps. So please keep in touch, and in the meanwhile, best of luck in your photographic endeavors. Hope you're going out and having some fun with your camera and your videos, and so keep in touch and be well.